All right, today we are going to be talking about proportions with volume. So you've already talked about proportions with area, and today is going to be with volume. So it's very similar as area, just now we're dealing with volume. All right, the proportional volumes conjecture says that if corresponding edge lengths, or heights, or a radius of two similar solids compare in the ratio m over n, then their volumes ratio is m cubed over n cubed. Okay, so if you remember the area one, it was m squared over n squared. Obviously, volume, we work with cubed, so we are cubing that ratio when we're dealing with volume. I'll be going through a couple examples of two different ways that you will see that. All right, first thing, here we have find the volume of the larger pyramid, given that the smaller volume is 2,079 units cubed. Now notice that they did give us two measurements. Okay, we're going to assume that these solids are similar in this problem. So that means 21 and 28 would be proportional to each other. But we know we can't use 21 over 28 when we're dealing with volume. When we're dealing with volume, we need to cube them. That would be the proportion that we'd want to use. So 21 cubed would be 9,261 over 28 cubed, 21,952. So this is the proportion or the scale factor that we're going to use to help us find the volume. We cannot use 21 over 28. Okay, that's for when we're dealing with one dimension. Okay, we know the smaller one is 2,079, so I'm going to put that on the top with the smaller one. So then we can just cross multiply. I take 21,952 times 2,079. Ooh, we get a big number. And then divide that number by 9,261. So the big volume is going to be about 4,928 units cubed. Okay, so the main part when you're trying to find a volume or an area, you just have to make sure you're using the correct scale factor. Okay, you want to make sure that you are cubing them when we're dealing with volume. Okay, because we would not have come up with the same answer if I used 21 over 28. Now, what happens when they give you the volumes already, but they want you to find a dimension? So they want us to find the height of the bigger one. Okay, because we already know the height of the smaller one. Okay, so we know that we can't just use 82 over 39,269. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, so we can't say 8,482.3 over 39,269.9. Okay, that doesn't work because we're trying to find a dimension now, a length. Okay, so the opposite of cubing would be a cubed root. Okay, so we are going to cube root these. Cube root both of these help us find our scale factor for our heights. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that on your calculator here. Let me get the calculator up. Okay, so your cubed button is where your math button is. Cube root. Okay, you're going to arrow down to number 4, press enter, and you're going to type in 8,482.3, enter. Okay, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to cube root the other one, 39,269.9. So you get 33.99. Okay, so then we'll go back and write those in. Okay, so we got about 20.394. I'm trying not to round a ton, try to keep my answer as accurate as possible. Okay, so this is going to be our scale factor that we want to use. Okay, so we're going to use 20.394 over 33.99. Okay, we know the height to be 36, and we're trying to find this height. Okay, because I couldn't just use the volumes to help me. I need to cube root them to help me find the height. Then we cross multiply. 36 times 33.99, and then divide by 20.394. So our height, it ends up being approximately 60 units after you do your cross multiplication. Okay, so these are the only two problems that we're going to go through in the video here. So if you need to go back and rewatch them, please do that, especially if you did not take down notes.